Morning everybody. Welcome back to City Sewers. So a lot of my videos have been starting with milking. That's mostly just because that's a moment when I have to actually like focus on what I'm saying to the camera. So that's kind of the reason for that. Because I'm sitting still anyway. So this past week we've been going through another heat wave with temperatures over 100 degrees. So there hasn't been a lot going on outside, honestly, because it's just too hot to be out there. And I've got some garden stuff I need to catch up on this morning while it's still cool. This is the first morning that we've had that's actually reasonably cool. It's not going to stay that way for long. It's supposed to be over 100 degrees again today. But there are some things that I need to do in the garden. So we'll run through, we'll probably harvest whatever needs to be picked this morning, but I've come to the decision, it was a very difficult decision, that the sunflowers have to go. The sunflowers are glorious, they're beautiful, however, they are blocking the sun from 3 of my tomato plants, and those tomato plants have been not struggling, but they're certainly not producing. So I had said earlier in the season I was going to let the sunflowers have their glorious day and then pull them. Well, they're still blooming, but now it's almost mid-July. It's time to get those tomatoes going if I'm going to get anything out of them. Now if I had a lot more space and a lot more tomato plants, I might just be okay with sacrificing those. But I only have 1 plant of each variety. And that's 3 varieties that I'm currently doing without. I just have too little space to give up the opportunity of growing more food, which honestly I already have sacrificed, because one of those varieties is a cherry tomato and I should be swimming in them right now. But I've only picked a handful of them. And I actually decided not to plant as many cherry tomatoes this year because we were so overrun. And now here I am with almost no cherry tomatoes. I have the blush tigers, which are a grape tomato. So they're like 2-bite tomatoes. They're not small enough to just pop in your mouth. So I've come to the difficult decision to pull out the sunflowers. Now I'm probably not going to yank out the root systems just because they're so entangled with everything else. I will probably just cut them a couple inches above the soil line and leave them. Now for a person that has a hard time with even thinning seedlings, this is gonna be like, ugh, knife to the heart. But I really want those tomatoes. Now I will bring you guys along for the rest of my animal chores today, just to kind of give you updates on baby goats, baby rabbits. With these hot days, there's been very little to show, so I haven't been filming much. And I can also kind of update you guys on how Shasta is doing after her cancer surgery. Come on. Morning, little goat. Hello. Goodness. Chaos. Oh, Jane. Thank you, Betsy. That's helpful. So our baby goats are 8 weeks old now. So they are technically old enough to wean, but we usually decide to wean at 10 weeks. However, I would say it's about time for us to list them and put them up for sale, because it's just that time. So you guys are the first to know that we have 3 goat kids that are gonna be ready to go. 2 doelings and 1 wether, and their moms are registered with the American Dairy Goat Association, and we are able to register them. So they're not at this point because it is extra expense. I do not plan on registering Gilbert because he's a wether and there's not much point to registering a wether. But, so yeah, we'll have 2 doelings that can be registered, can be future milkers, and so yeah, if anybody is interested in 1, 2, all 3 of them, I will not be sending any goats to go be only goats. An only goat is a lonely goat, and so I have a policy where I will not be rehoming single baby goats to homes that do not have goats already. So if you want to buy them in pairs or as a trio, that's totally fine, but I won't sell any single goats to be an only goat. Hey girls. So this is Shirley. And Shirley is getting some pale hair coming in here. I'm not sure, she might be getting a little bit of moon spotting, but we'll see. She's the only blue-eyed baby in the bunch. Oh, thank you so much, Betsy. That was helpful. But she's very cute. And then Anne with an E here is our first mostly white baby. But she's gorgeous. She's got those nice little chocolate brown markings on her. Very pretty little doelings. Very healthy. And then there's Gilbert. Hi, Gilbert. Goodness. Gilbert has moon spots on his neck here. He is weathered, and he is a silly boy. So now I'm gonna refill the chicken feeders because they're empty, and those girls are squawking for their breakfast. So we'll get these feeders filled up, and then we'll go look at baby bunnies. That was heavy. Now this is actually the roof canopy from the doe rabbit cages. There's no need to use it in the garage, so David threw it up over the end of the chicken run here to give them some shade, and they like to congregate under that during the hottest part of the day. So kudos to David for coming up with that idea. And before I give the sunflowers their marching orders, let's take a look at baby bunnies. Now, it is actually cool enough in here that I can turn off the swamp cooler for a minute while I'm filming. It will be going back on as soon as I'm done out here. So, good morning, Guinevere. And the pile of baby wabbits. Cute little babies. It's hard to get a sense of scale for how big these babies are actually getting when you're just looking in the cage next to the adult rabbit. So I'll pull out Snowball. That's how big they are in the hand. They've been getting handled every day, so they're nice and calm and used to being handled. They're very sweet. Now the bulk of our bunnies are still available. Chunky Monkey, which is the black and white one, and Philip, which is the black one, are the two that are currently kind of claimed. Everybody else doesn't really have any solid claims on them, so they're all still available. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out with these guys. I mean, they're still going to be with us for a while because they're only 3 weeks old, almost 3.5 weeks old. So, and they're going to be with mom until at least 8 weeks. Alright, the fateful moment has come before the heat gets in. Oh, I feel so guilty doing it. Here we go. Well, sunflowers are gone. I feel dreadful. However, the goats are thrilled. I've got to do some support now for the tomatoes that are kind of growing all over the place. So I'll tie them up, get those supported, and then we can call it a day because the heat is starting to come in. I do still have to get the harvesting done, but that's only a few minutes. So, whew. Some hard work out here. This is interesting. I just found this little tiny egg in the garden. Some sort of a sparrow's egg probably. But I mean, it's long busted. It's all dried up. But somebody had it and must have dropped it flying over the garden. I mean, there's no chick in it, it's just egg yolk, so it either was early on in development or unfertilized, but fascinating. Well, the sunflowers are gone. I've done kind of a quickie harvest of the tomatoes and the cucumbers and things that were ready to go. But oh man, it's starting to get toasty. So I'm about ready to wrap up out here, and then we can go and check on Miss La. The goats are thoroughly enjoying their windfall. Okay, I'm officially done outside. It's getting so warm and I'm getting crazy itchy from all the scratchy plants all over me. So, first, let's do a little update on Miss Shasta. I want to preface this by saying huge thank you to everyone who has been commenting with really encouraging words and prayers and well wishes. We thank you so very much for those. She's doing really well. She's not thrilled about the cone, but she can't leave her incision alone. She wants to mess with the stitches. The stitches come out in 3 days, so hopefully we're almost out of the woods here with the cone. But hi, Na. She's doing good. She's getting much more normal. She's getting more active now that the incision is healing, so it's a little less painful. So she's doing pretty good. Huh, Shasta? Are you a good girl? She does get to have her cone off in the evenings when the kids go to bed, and David and I can kind of keep an eye on her and when we're relaxing for the evening. So we all sit together with the dog, and she gets to have the cone off because she's supervised. But during the day when we're busy, she's got to have it. So, but she's doing good. We'll just have to wait and see what the doctor says when we get her stitches out. But here, we can actually take a look at her incision, and I can show you guys. It's doing so much better. Alright, so here's her incision. It's looking way better. The bruising is just about gone, and all the ooziness is pretty much done, looks like. So I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, I said I was done outside, but I'm not actually done outside because I've got to check the peach tree. But this is where I'm going to go ahead and close out the video. Thank you guys so much for joining me for mourning the loss of the sunflowers with me. I'm really bummed that those had to come out. But if I want to grow the optimal amount of food in my space, I've got to do that instead of sunflowers that are not really contributing anything. I mean, contributing anything, I guess, tangible. Because beauty is something that is awesome, and we're pulling in pollinators, but there comes a point where you just have to say enough is enough. So, tomatoes are now hopefully going to start taking off. I'll probably feed them tomorrow before it gets hot again in the morning, or maybe even this evening after the sun goes down, just to make sure that those have enough nutrients to start producing tomatoes for me. Thanks again to everyone who had such wonderful comments about Shasta and her recovery from her cancer surgery. We really hope that we've indeed gotten some extended time with her, but we're just going to take it as it comes and enjoy every minute that we have with her. If anybody is interested in either our baby goats or our baby rabbits, you can email me. I'll put the email in the description for this video. As always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd, saying that you can grow where you're planted.